Caden was enjoying his new jobs on the Western Valley Railway. He works with passengers and goods trains along the main line. And he also works in the yards with freight cars. This was because he and Taffy likes to do some shunting, and the two engines were working happily together. Caden often likes to tell the other engines some of his stories when the work was done for the day. And that evening at the sheds, the engines do enjoyed his company.
Haven't I told you guys about the time I've had a branch line to run?
No, Caden. You haven't told us.
I didn't know you had a branch line on the Great Western.
I remember some stories about how Taffy used to run down the coastal track back then. But I never thought you two had a lot in common.
Well, yes, it's like where the beach took place at Wallingford.
Please tell us about it, Caden. This could be a very exciting story.
Very well. This story is about how I've been given a job of running the branch line. Back when I joined the other engines, I was given the 3 very special coaches. Their names are Teaganm, Theo, and Sally. Wallingford is the branch line that locates between the market town and the main line of Wallingford Road. It was opened in 1866. I've heard some stories about it from all my friends, and they said the line was originally planned to be completed, but never succeeded because of insufficient funds. Anyway, my coaches are the 3 auto coaches I always pull. They are young and like taking passengers to somewhere special. I don't mind it. I used to help with shunting in the train yard, but I've never worked on the branch line till this day. However, their paint needs a nice new one, and they all looked very dusty from all that leashing and whooshing from my steam cylinders recently. But that doesn't bother me. None of those 3 coaches are as old as other coaches think they are. I love them very much for their company, as they were always bright and cheerful. I pulled them on the branch line every single day, and the passengers loved singing inside them. It was a wonderful thing for them to do in the summer. I really loved it at this time of year. On this particular day, I pulled into the station feeling very tired. I've taken the passengers up and down the wonderful branch line all month long, and I looked forward for a 30-minute break. I left my coaches and I went to fill up on water on a siding before it was time for my next train. I usually slept in until my next train arrived, but there was a freight car on the siding. Most of the freight cars on our railway were well behaved. They were always quiet, and they knew not to play tricks, as it could result in disastrous. However, this freight car had always been troublesome, and I had never liked him. Unfortunately, my temper got the best of me that day. Why don't engines put you where you're supposed to be?
I don't know. How about you ask the engines that put me where I am right now?
He started laughing, but my coaches and I didn't. We knew this car was nothing but trouble.
Anyway, can you go somewhere else? I'm trying to... Well,
what? Dan? Cars don't Dan. Now get away.
Ow! Oh! I don't like you at all.
Me neither. Now we're even. My coaches felt bad for me after that day. I never was the same engine again, just that one freight car had turned my life upside down, it seemed like. One cloudy and foggy day, I popped into the station once again with my usual passenger train. The freight car was in that same siding again. I, however, had about had enough with him. That's it. If you're going to sit there humiliating me like you did before, I can't tolerate this any longer. The freight car had been teasing me for many days now, and I got very tired of it.
Oh, too bad, Caden. Or should I say, Mr. Caden, the very hot-tempered engine who throws a tantrum like a big baby.
I was very cross now. I hissed steam, coupled to the car, and I told my controller, who was at the station at that time, what my plan is.
Okay, but be back before dark.
I will, sir.
Please be careful, Caden.
We don't want you to get lost out there.
I hope you can hurry back before the passengers will be late.
I will, you 3. And don't worry, I won't be long when I get back.
So, what happened after that?
Well, for starters, I never returned. Nobody knew what happened to me back then. I never returned that night, and they never saw the same car again.
I didn't know you had a branch line on the Great Western.
It is. Anyway, Teaganm, Theo and Sally were shocked to hear that I was missing. They were all very worried about me, and they couldn't sleep ever since I left. But 2 days after I went missing, there was a terrible accident at one of the stations and many people were killed. I was involved in a big collision with a bigger engine who was coming through with the Great Western Express train. Because I didn't see where I was going before as I thought I suddenly got lost. I didn't know there's the train coming until that day. The fog had cleared and everyone can see me clearly now. I was lucky I didn't get lost in the end. Unfortunately though, the railway went so far in depth just in 24 hours that it had to be closed down. Managers from other railways came and bought the engines, coaches and freight cars. I was the last one to be bought and that's when I came here to be safe. However, I didn't get a chance to see Teaganm, Theo and Sally again since they were bought to be safe in their new homes. Those three used to be my coaches, but they were now someone else's coaches for their passenger trains. And that's how much I cared about them, and well, it was a farewell goodbye after all. We've done so many things together and I will never forget the time that I used to run the branch line at Wallingford where it was now closed down.
Wow, that's a very nice story, Caden.
Yeah, it was really sad at first, but it's a very interesting story. At least you're here with us, safe and sound.
Yes indeed. I wish I'd like to see Teaganm, Theo and Sally one last time before I arrived.
Good evening, engines. I heard that Caden told you the story about his three coaches Teaganm, Theo, and Sally. Yes he did, Miss Edwards.
I didn't know you were here at the whole time, Miss Edwards. So what brings you here?
Well, I've heard the story about what happened with you and your coaches when I came here. I listened carefully to where you were telling them about the branch line at Wallingford on the Great Western where it was closed and your coaches were permanently sold away.
That's true, Miss Edwards. I really miss them a lot. Sorry you have to hear this.
That's all right, but you don't need to be sad.
What do you mean?
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while since you told the engines the end of this story, and I've decided now that it might make you happy. I'm going to have Teaganm, Theo and Sally come to this railway. I looked up some papers and I realized that they were actually at the scrapyards, that you may not know where they were. So I've called the workmen to have them bought and they were transported to the works to be mended and painted. They'll soon be looked as good as new and you'll be able to pull them again tomorrow morning.
Really? Oh, thank you, Miss Edwards.
Caden was very happy. The engines were happy for him. It was morning when Caden arrived at the station. He bring his three coaches to the platform, where he and Taffy told each other everything of how they used to pull on the Great Western.